Hey everyone, as we shared in the daily financial news, we got some pretty positive information on the unemployment claims, retail sales. I actually titled the video, Welcome to the Sun, which means we're out of this dark tunnel and you're into the light. So enjoy it. But we want to talk with Jonathan Twomley today and see what he thinks. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Michael. Thank you as always. Boy, I have to say, I when I logged in to check on those unemployment numbers today before the call, I was really surprised in a good way
Yeah.
to see them drop so precipitously from the prior week. 200,000. With the prior week's revised upward number, we're talking about a 200,000 claim delta
Yeah.
in a positive direction, and down below that magic $600,000, 600,000 claim
Yeah.
mark,
Yeah.
and we're finally below the previous record high unemployment.
Yes.
So all these things are great. I mean, the new jobs number too. I mean, just smoking 900,000 new jobs
Yeah.
created. I mean, that was just things are definitely going in the right direction. I would just caution just on the number itself of the unemployment claims. I mean, it's been so choppy. We've been surprised before. I wouldn't be surprised to see it spike up again. But I think that the overall trend line, I think it's going to continue to go down. But I think there may be some choppiness and noise in it. So we may be surprised again next week with a bad number. But um, let's keep our fingers crossed that this is
Yeah.
going
I'm going to put
to
out some good
be
karma right here. And I think we've seen, I don't think we go back above 700, right? We may bounce up, right? Because I mean, we went from 769 to 576, right? That's a drop, right? So we may bounce up to the sixes. Back to
yeah.
your
I
word of
mean,
choppy.
when you see a number like a dramatic difference like that, then you have to ask yourself, like, all right, are there some timing differences in
Yeah.
there? Like, did more people file the week before and then a lot less this week, but but it's still around the average, and that's where the true number really is.
Hmm.
So you never, when you see a big jump like this, that's what you have to ask. But it's really more important to kind of look at the moving average, right? And I think the moving average is, this
Yeah.
takes it down for sure. And we've seen this trend now starting to develop where
Yeah. Well,
claims
I
are better
think
and
I
the
think I
new
think
job
we
creation is rising.
yeah I think we
So
call this a trend now. I think we can actually see a negative trend, right? We were kind of flatlined for seemingly 20 weeks or
we
25
were stuck
weeks.
in that band, right? Just
Yeah.
couldn't get out of that box for a long time. And now here we are, you know,
Yeah.
like you said. And plus everything sort of points in the direction of improvement. Weather is getting better, right?
Hmm.
Vaccine is ramping up.
Hmm.
I mean, they've accelerated the rollout of the vaccines,
Hmm.
and um, so all that stuff is pointing in the right direction.
Hmm.
People are starting to feel a little, they're starting to feel hopeful again, making plans to travel. It,
Yeah.
it's it, you know, we're not completely out of the woods yet, but we're still. It's going to be. I think this summer will be a lot different than last summer.
Yeah, no question. And the other thing, there's two more things on this topic I want to talk about before we get to our topic 2 and 3. And that is, first, when I looked at retail sales, first off, I expected that to be a gangbuster. Well, I'll round it to 10% for this discussion, which is awesome. Obviously, fairly stimulus related because it was kind of the month where a good majority had their 1,400. But when I looked at the number, right, kind of by segment, bars and restaurants up 13.4%, clothing up 18.3, sporting goods up 23.5. And again, where I translate this to is not the retail dollars, which is great for companies, but I'm like, you know what? That means people have to be hired, right? If,
Oh
if
yeah.
we're seeing that, I mean, um,
Well,
it's going to be good, I think.
I I don't know what you're seeing around where you are, but here in Brooklyn, I mean, there are help wanted signs all over the place.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is obviously a great sign,
Hmm.
I think people are happy to get back to work, anxious to get back to work. So
Hmm.
um, I think we're
Yeah.
going to see a positive, virtuous, cycle.
Yeah. Just like it went the other way. Now it's building on the positive side. And the other thing I want to talk about is Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon had a great quote the other day. He's like, the American consumer, which again, we're a consumer-based economy, is a coiled spring ready
Mm.
to bounce back. I think he's right. I mean, I did a video now, I think a month ago, talking about, I had enough. I dropped some significant money on a vacation, in July, in the summer, or I think there's just more and more people that are going that directions. We have Delta Airlines saying June's going to be break even. I mean, the airlines had no idea. We have hotels talking about being almost 70% booked. I mean, there's just so much good information coming. I think the job growth or job creation could be well over 1 million for the month of I guess it would be April when they report it next.
Yeah. Um, well, actually, the next one, it's usually a 2 month lag, so it'll
Oh,
be
okay.
March
Okay.
that they report in May. But yeah, I agree with you. And again, as we've discussed before, it's really going to be in all of those like high interpersonal touch,
Yeah.
crowded business kind of businesses that are bouncing back, right? That, travel
Exactly.
related stuff, the services, as you said, bars, restaurants. Those are the venues that are going to start bouncing back. Actually, in New York, they just announced that they're ending the mandatory quarantines that
Oh,
they had in
cool.
place. People travel to New York internationally or even domestically. I don't know how effective those things were because there was no way to monitor them, but at least
Yeah.
it did kind of like, for at least some people, it presented an obstacle to coming here
Yeah.
because like, oh, I don't
Caution.
want to
Yeah.
quarantine, right?
Yeah.
So now we're ending that. So I mean, that's going to help for sure. Um, so this is, you're going to see, I think, a big bounce back. I mean, the next thing to see will be when they open up Broadway again, right? Like when is that?
Yeah.
Like that'll be a huge thing for New York to bring that back.
Yeah.
But I think
Okay.
again, in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this moment in the sun, right? We've been in this for 54, 56 weeks, something like that. I've told my audience this morning in the Daily Financial News that we took our second step out. Just enjoy it. I think we've got some pretty good data coming. So, any closing thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I think we've covered it pretty well. I think it's just keep our fingers crossed, but
Yeah.
I think we see things moving in the right direction. I think the momentum is now behind us and a lot of,
Yeah.
both on the health score and
Hmm.
uh, the economic score, which are obviously related in the pandemic. So it's good. It's good
Yeah.
news.
And as you know, once you get to a positive, like a certain concentration, the momentum is enough to take you forward. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a
You
lot of
hit that
fun.
mass. Yeah, you hit the critical mass of people feeling good about stuff, and it takes on a momentum of its own, right? So
Exactly. And I think we're almost there. We're so close. All right, Jonathan. Thank you, buddy.
absolutely.